Hey everyone, and welcome back to Remember This Tech. On today's episode, I'm going to be putting together an epic system with the components behind me that I was so generously loaned from B&H Photo and Video. Now it's going to focus around the Radeon RX 97XT 16 gig overclock card by Gigabyte. The heart of the system, the processor, is going to be revolving around the AMD Ryzen 9800X3D CPU with 8 cores and 16 threads. It is a beast. In order to cool that, we've got the Asus Prime LC360 ARGB liquid AIO cooler. It's also going to be featuring the ROG Strix X870E TAC-E gaming Wi-Fi X870E motherboard, socket AM5, and the Seasonic Vertex GX2 1200 watt 80 plus gold fully modular power supply, and not supplied by them for the loaner program is going to be my own NVMe drive and also my SSD where all my games are for testing. And I'm going to test out specifically in this build, this beast of a build, 1440p gaming. Doing a couple 4K tests to see how this system can fare in 2025 and let it really stretch its legs. So without further ado, let's slap together this system on my bench to test and install Windows and get to testing, shall we? We're going to do some tests, 10 games, and put charts at the end, graphs and charts at the end so you can check it out. And again, I don't keep any of this equipment. It was just loaner. It's not a paid review per se, but it's a loaner program from B&H Video and Photo and Video. So they'll have their links in the description below to check out all the pieces and parts for this epic monster build in the description section below. So check them out. It really helps me out. So without further ado, come on, let's go! Here's the beast. 104 meg of cache. Insane. I've never used an X3D CPU, and this is the first. And this is going to be amazing. Save this for later. I'm gonna have to use some of my DDR5 6000 RAM for this because none was loaned to me, so that's on me. And it isn't the fastest, but it's not the slowest either. And I'm just using a spare NVMe that I had. It's a Western Digital Black SN750 SE Battlefield 2042 NVMe. It's got the Phison controller, you know, that's been in the news lately. See how it performs here. It's not the fastest, but it's what I've got. Gotta love a modular power supply, fully modular. Yeah, I'm on a test bench, but it doesn't matter because, you know, when you're in your case, you can hook up what you need, you know. And for this video card, we're gonna need 3 dedicated 8-pin PCI Express to the system because that's what it takes. And 2 8-pin power connectors for the motherboard as well. Yes, I need all these cables because of the tremendous draw from the CPU and the GPU. The GPU is going to pull up to 300 some watts at peak, so yeah, we need that. Let's get the RAM in and then put on mount the cooler.
Atomfall is well optimized, averaging over 130 FPS at 1440p. The lowest stayed tight, meaning the gameplay feels consistent, and at 4K performance remains strong, still comfortably above 90 frames per second. Baldur's Gate 3 averages 174 FPS at 1440p. Even the 1% lows are comfortably over 100, making for flawless gameplay. And at 4K, you'll see very strong numbers, over 85 FPS on average.
Make every strike count!
Borderlands 4 runs at about 68 FPS on average at 1440p. It's very playable, but the 1% lows drop into the 30s, so you may notice an occasional stutter. At 4K, it slides into the 40 FPS range. This game is still new and not 100% optimized, in my humble opinion.
Something bound.
ready for any counterattack.
Company of Heroes 3 scales beautifully, hitting over 200 FPS at 1440p. At 4K, it's still very smooth, around 100 FPS on average, which strategy fans will appreciate for its responsiveness.
Fight, soldier! The last man! We gotta capture and hold that ground. Scout team out! Everybody out! Taking ground fire! Ground fire! Ah! Of course we're outnumbered! We're being picked apart! Outnumbered!
Cyberpunk 2077 averages 131 FPS with 1440p, with good stability across the board. At 4K, the frame rate is still solid, holding at the 65 FPS mark, a great balance between visuals and performance. Red Dead Redemption 2 hits over 230 FPS at 1440p, with lows still near 90. It's buttery smooth at this resolution, and at 4K the average holds well above 115 FPS, which is incredible for this title. Jedi Survivor delivers around 120 FPS on average at 1440p. 1% lows hover in the 90s, making it a very smooth experience. At 4K, the game still clears 90 FPS on average, though heavier scenes push it lower.
Kill us! Going ahead! Whip up now. Stop! Intruder!
Hurry up, buddy.
Starfield pushes into the 200 plus FPS range at 1440p, which is excellent for such a demanding game. At 4K you'll see triple digit frames most of the time, though large open areas cause dips.
Please move to avoid injury. There's nothing like fresh air filters. Am I right?
Mars isn't for everyone.
The Witcher 3 Enhanced Edition averages 136 FPS at 1440p, with lows well above 100. It stays incredibly smooth at 4K, and the average hovers around 68 FPS. Still great for this game at this detail. Stalker 2 at 1440p. Stalker 2 averages over 70 FPS with smooth frame pacing and 1% low staying in the mid 50s. Even at 4K, performance stays very playable, though dips in 40s can be expected.
So my final thoughts on this beastly build. I've never had such a beastly build in my possession. And again, thanks to B&H Photo Video for loaning this equipment. That Ryzen 9800X3D CPU allowed this system to stretch its legs, and the Gigabyte RX 9070 XT 16 gig card is beastly, allowing me to play games at 1440p, buttery smooth performance, and even at 4K without problems. I've never really been able to bask in the glory of some of these new games with their enhanced graphics at native resolution at that. So in my humble opinion, if you had the means to put together a system like this, it's going to last you for years. So again, I'll put all the links to this in the description section below for all the parts and pieces for this build. In case you want to check it out, there'll be links to B&H Photo and Video. Check it out, it really helps me out. So thanks for coming along with me today on this beastly build, and thanks for watching. Remember this tech.